I got asked a good question. Was the Big Red Machine the greatest trio of great players of all time with Cincinnati Reds? That's a great question because all due respect to George Foster who was on that team, Dave Concepcion, Tony Perez who was bad, you got Tom Seaver on there. You have a lot of great talent. But how do you argue against Pete Rose, Joe Morgan, and Johnny Bench? Those guys were standards. And the Big Red Machine won multiple rings. Now the A's three-peated, but the Reds have probably got more love when you think about it. I mean, they were really that distinctive when they played, and they hit it big. I mean, when you mention the name Pete Rose, you mention the name Joe Morgan, you mention Johnny Bench. You're not just talking about great teammates together. You're talking about three of the greatest players ever on one team, the Big Red Machine. And we go back, they had won their second chip after that classic against Boston in '75. They came back and they smashed the Yankees in '76. And they were just like on another level, another playing field. They're just the things that they were able to do. They just, I mean, Charlie Hustle, Pete Rose was leading the way. Joe Morgan was clutch. He was back to back MVP. Johnny Bench had been MVP versus MVP. I mean, they had all done it. They had a body of work where it was like they were a machine. That's why they were a Big Red Machine. And that just says nothing about what Tony Perez and Foster and those guys, who Foster in '77, '78, he had 52 home runs in '77, which was going to be a record. It was a long time for no one hit 50 home runs until Cecil Fielder did back in 1990. So they were just really on a whole different trajectory of what they were doing, led by Sparky Anderson as the manager. So when I think about that trio of Rose, Morgan, and Bench, it's really hard for me to think of anybody. I know someone might come up with Canseco, McGuire, and Henderson. One of those guys are in the Hall of Fame. They all should be. But were they as dominant as the Big Red Machine? I can't say they were. Cincinnati was winning chips too and beating that butt. I mean, they had a double double. So it's hard. And when you talk about the icons and the guys that really stood out in baseball, well, Pete Rose belongs in any argument that you want to put amongst that. Joe Morgan was great as a second baseman. All around, he was a great player. And Johnny Bench, if he ain't the greatest catcher, he's in that top 2 to 3. I used to watch his show. If you remember what I'm talking about, old school remember what I'm talking about, the Johnny Bench show, he used to give tips on how he catches and what he would do. Just an incredible, phenomenal player. And all three of them were just unstoppable together. So you can make the case that the Cincinnati Reds, Big Red Machine, the trio of Rose, Morgan, and Bench were the baddest trio ever in baseball. You can make a case for them because they were all high tier Hall of Famers, high tier respected, and they definitely left a mark on the game and definitely were um, very distinctive and just you just knew what you had right there. You just knew that they were something else. It was just you know top of the line. So it's just one of those things that when you look at them in hindsight, you just can't help but like be in awe of what they were able to do and what they were able to accomplish as a teammates and as players. Three of the greatest that ever do, and who happened to put that ego aside and make that thing count and get that jewelry. So put some respect by their name. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you view Rose, Morgan, and Bench the baddest trio ever? Yes or no? And if you don't, let me know who you think. And if you do, let me know. Please like, subscribe, work on thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share it if you like. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out one time. Peace.